All right. Okay. Thank you, Richard. What's your definition of leadership?
My definition of leadership is being able to, as a person, being able to get individuals to do something that you'd like for them to do, for example, as part of perhaps a small team or as a bigger team, without using formal authority. So you may not necessarily, for example, have any more power over those individuals, but through your charisma, through who you are as a person and how they view you, you're able to get them to do things that you'd like for them to do. I think that to me is the definition of leadership.
Okay. Thank you. The second one, what leadership do you practice yourself?
I would say I practice, generally I practice very participative leadership style, meaning that I genuinely try to get everybody involved in, in the decisions that need to be made, making sure to get their input, because I think certainly one of the things I've learned over the course of my career is that you can learn a lot from others, and there's others, for example, that may be more experienced or more experts, let's say, in particular areas. And so by drawing on those, ideas and let's say their experiences, you're able to make better informed decisions and so forth. So I would say I definitely use a more participative style of leadership. At the end of the day, it's you in a sense that still needs to make the ultimate decision. But I think getting people's input, I think, is really important. It also empowers them, and it makes them feel like they're part of, let's say, the decision that's eventually made.
Excellent. Okay. What environment does your leadership style work best? Family or colleagues?
I think my style of leadership works best probably with colleagues. And I say that mainly because I think in general, especially with young children, I think sometimes no matter how participative, no matter how inclusive you are in trying to get them involved, they still have a mind of their own and they're very strong in that sense. However, with that being said, I do think that when you do give, for example, children and families, when you give them options, I think you're often much more successful than when you say, okay, this is what we're going to do. I think getting them, in a sense, included in the decision making also is very important. But I think in general, I think it's a bit more. I'm a bit more successful using that style of leadership probably with colleagues, because colleagues, in a sense, there's maybe that sort of there's that let's say that desire or that need for them to still sort of be involved, whereas family it can be voluntary often. So
Right. Okay. Thank you. And the last one, what helps you be better leader?
I think what helps me being a better leader is being a good listener. I think for me that's extremely important. And again, I think it's something that you learn over time. I know when I was younger, for example, in my career, I had a habit of just kind of acting sometimes without listening real well. And what happens sometimes as a result of that is maybe you do something without using really great judgment. And you tend to use better judgment when you listen to others, when you hear their perspectives. I think also what I mean by being a good listener is not just hearing what they're saying, but actually listening to what they're saying and actually, in a sense, making sense of what they're saying. Because often when you're a good listener, a good active listener, you actually see things from different people's perspectives, and often it will lead you to maybe make different decisions than you would have otherwise. So I think really good listening is very important. Communicating is also important, very, very important. But if I would say one or the other, being a very good listener, I think has made me a better leader.
Okay. Thank you.